Good evening po, Kuya Randy. Welcome, Heaven and Evian. To Jenky, welcome. Welcome, Aki. Welcome. Good evening po, Tita Dulce. Welcome po. Tapos na lang.
Hello, Moni.
Evening po, ate. Tapusin ko lang. Nakashare ba ko? Alit po. Good evening po sa lahat. Welcome po sa ating 20th day session for the TP series workshop. So, before we begin, let us sing our Junelgok anthem. Please, let me share my screen. so much. Welcome po to our good evening po sa lahat. So once again, welcome po Tita Dulcie, Sir Randy, elders, brothers and sisters, welcome po. Kumusta po kayo lahat? Okay lang po ba i-open po natin yung camera po natin? Para let's take first a picture. Ate Feli, Ate Corazon, this time. Aki, G, picture. Aki. Mahina lang. Okay, Aki, please open your camera. Ate Feli. Okay na po ba? Aki. Okay, let's take pictures. Sir Randy, okay po ba? Picture.
Dili mo, nandito ako sa labas.
Okay lang po. Okay, let's take picture. Smile. 2 by 2, brothers and sisters. Sige, palabas yung mga smile po natin. Okay? Hannah, Joseph. Smile.
Wala, hindi ako makikita.
Okay. Ano po siya? Sorry, technical problem. Naghang po, laptop ko. Saglit po. Ayaw makipagsabay yung ano sa akin. Kuya Herwin, pwede po ba ikaw muna sa itang? Ano yung laptop ko, hang?
Okay. Sab muna ako sandali. So for opening prayer, please join the prayer. Ano lang. Our Heavenly Parents and True Parents, we are so thankful for tonight and together with Tita Dulce, Father, and we are now on the lecture of significance and value of the blessing. I pray, Father in heaven, that we could truly open our hearts and minds so that to deepen our understanding, Father in heaven, especially the essence and the value of the blessing, Father in heaven. Father, thank you for bestowing upon us your true love, Father in heaven. And sometimes we are so numb, Father in heaven, we couldn't be able to feel it, but we believe, Father in heaven, that it's always there and you're always guiding us. And now it's our opportunity, Father in heaven, to return to you the blessing, Father in heaven, that I do hope that we could truly give you joy and happiness, Father in heaven, through this simple seminars and attending and listening to lectures, Father in heaven. And I hope that we could realize many things, Father in heaven, for tonight. Father, without you, we cannot fulfill everything, Father in heaven. And I pray, I'm inviting you, Father in heaven, to join with us for tonight. Guidance and presence with us, Father in heaven. Thank you so much, Father, for being our guide. And I would like to offer for this prayer. In our name, heaven and Jesus. Aju.
Aju. Yes, thank you so much po Kuya Herwin. Sorry, technical problem. Okay, once again, brothers and sisters, please open your camera. Let's take picture first. Okay, before we start. Okay. Okay. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Small heart, brothers and sisters. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And then, last month, Vision 2027. Once again, Sungni, Sungni, Sungni. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So, tonight, excited na ba kayo, brothers and sisters? So, yung ano po natin ngayong gabi na to, yung program po natin is, first is, Tita Dulce will give the speaker. She will discuss about the significance of the blessing. Then, Kuya Julius he will give the life testimony. And then, third is, final exam. So, yun. Excited na ba kayo, brothers and sisters, for tonight? So, okay. Then, wag na natin itong patagalin pa. Because, yan. Tita Dulce is already here. So, I will, tonight, it's my privilege to welcome our precious speaker, our mother of 5 children, and our very own BFD Director of the Philippines. So she will discuss the significance of the blessing. Without further ado, let us welcome Tita Dulce Boyayo. Please give on, brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Manena. Sandali ha. Kikita nyo na?
Yes po.
Hello?
Yes. Good evening.
Okay. Internet connection is unstable. Sabi niya. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes po, ate, but choppy po siya.
Happy, tita.
Choppy po siya.
Okay. So, what's your... Andali. Wala lang. Choppy pa rin?
Okay na po. Okay na po.
Hello? Okay na?
Yes po, tita. Okay na po.
Good evening.
Good evening po.
So,
Good evening.
how's everyone?
Okay po.
So, my topic for this evening is, wow, my God. The blessing. So, itong walang kupas na to, no? Unless we bless all people, the 7.8 billion people of this earth, you know, yeah, may stop natin itong lecture na ito, but habang naandyan pa yan, we will continuously, you know, inform people and educate people about this value and significance of the blessing. Aju? So, yeah. So first, sandali ha. So first thing I would like to share with you God's ideal of creation and marriage. Yeah. In the beginning, God created the angelic world first para maging katulong ni God, you know. So it is said in the divine principle that Anyway, pinag-aaralan niyo ang divine principle, right? Angels were created by God prior to any other creation. God created angels to be his retainers, servants, and ministering spirits who would assist him in creating and sustaining the universe. When God carried out the work of creation, he was assisted by angels. Those angels were to take care and protect Adam and Eve as well. You know? It was not God, but the angels who were meant to protect and nurture Adam and Eve until they reached maturity and got married. So ayon ang purpose, no? Para maging okay yung the whole creation, kailangan may katulong si God. And yon ang mga angels. And sila din ang mag-educate at mag-aalaga kay Adam and Eve until they reach maturity and got married. And then, after na prepare na ni God with the angelic world, with the angels and the whole environment, you know, God created Adam first. He was to be the son of God, and at the same time, God's substantial body. Later, God created Eve as the object partner of Adam, so that Adam and Eve could perfect the ideal of horizontal conjugal love. Eve was to be the daughter of God and also as a bride. He was to perfect substantially the ideal of the horizontal love of God. No? So, si Adam, siya yung God's body. And then si Eve naman, siya yung God's wife. No? Para ma-develop and substantiate the ideal of God's love in the horizontal plane. And then after that, you know, God gave them the three great blessings. I think this is very, very familiar to you. Sabi ni God, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and govern it. So, at the same time, binigyan din nila ni God sila ng portion of responsibility. Ano yung Genesis 2:17? Don't eat the fruit, for in the day that you will eat of it, you will surely die. This teaches us what God's purpose was in creating human beings and the universe. And at the same time, it reveals the fundamentals of life. The blessing that they be fruitful means that all human beings are to develop their character and perfect their ability to love. Yun, kailangan daw ma-perfect tayo. Hindi naman like a superwoman or superman, but it means perfection of our character and ability to love. The second blessing of multiplying life means the mature man and mature woman should form a relationship of husband and wife and have children and raise them, thus walking the path of parents. So yon, kapag matured na pareho, and then they can receive the blessing and have formed a family, no? Raise their own children. It is God's purpose of creation for the husband and the wife leading family and fulfilling the duties of father and mother to make this world into the blessed land of comfort and riches, thereby establishing the kingdom of heaven on earth. So automatic, once na ma-perfect si Adam and Eve, nagkaroon ng family. So yung the whole creation, you know, sa kanila yan. Kaya nga prepare ni God, itong the whole universe is for Adam and Eve and his family and their family para to live with abundance. You know. So habang lumalaki si Adam and Eve, they realized that they were born for each other. And a man and a woman are different from each other, both physically and in character, but they are reciprocal harmony. Kaya makikita natin na iba talaga ang nature ng babae sa lalaki. The reason man and woman are created with different characteristics is for them to complement and help each other. So yon, hindi naman ibig sabihin na magkaiba kayo ng character, hindi na kayo magkakasundo. But actually, you need each other para i-complement nyo pa kayo, no? Man and woman complement each other and help each other para ma-fulfill yung purpose nila. Kaya nga ito, a man and a woman cannot accomplish their purposes without each other. So anyway, in Genesis 1:27 of the Old Testament tells us that God created man in his own image, male and female, he created them. So ayan, kaya create ni God si Adam and Eve is to realize the ideal of true love. So everything in the creation, mapapansin natin na ito ay pares-pares, no? From the simplest and lowest levels up to the human level, subject and object, and positive and negative to form reciprocal relationships under the ideal of love. Always ang ano doon is love, no? Behind everything dito sa creation ni God is na nangyari ito out of love, no? The creation's ideal of love and God's ideal of ultimate love are not separate or different. The principle of creation is at work to complete the absolute love of God through the realization of true love between men and women in the human world. This is the reason why in the beginning, God created man, one man and one woman, Adam and Eve. So, Adam and Eve's love was to develop through their relationship with God in heart and with the natural world as their teacher. So actually, before, you know, nung wala pang fall, Adam and Eve can directly communicate with God artistically. So they first should have fully nurtured their love as brother and sister. So through that, yung kailang ma-develop nila yung kanilang relationship as brother and sister first. So Adam and Eve, wait. So habang nag-grow sila, no, Adam and Eve, born as God's children, we're meant to gradually grow in the realm of God's protection. So, you know, habang sila'y lumalaki, nakikita nila through the, you know, the creation around them, na ganun pala sila ang dapat din nilang gagawin. Like, for example, to be as fair as man and woman, no, makikita nila sa kanila sa environment lahat ng mga animals and affairs. So ganun din. Tapos sila nagkakaroon sila ng anak. You know, so ibig sabihin nakikita nila no na sila rin magkakaroon ng anak. Tapos nakikita nila how to take care of their babies, you know, yung mga anak nila. So ibig sabihin sila din ganun ang gagawin, no? Kaya doon nga sila natututo sa creation. So the world was a model and a museum showing them how to lead an ideal life. By observing all things around them as they grew, they would naturally have learned how to relate to each other in love. Whether they look at the insect world or the world of higher animals, they were meant to discover that these living things are, what is this? Are made in interacting pairs in order to do things for each other, call to each other, and love each other. Gahang ang aking PowerPoints. Sorry. We cannot imagine the ideal spouse without first experiencing the relationship of brother and sister. So, yun muna ang unahin, no? Brother and sister first. The first meeting of the opposite sex is for a woman, her father and elder brother. For a man, his mother and elder sister. So, in your case now, you know, since wala pa naman kayong partner, so dapat all the sisters, you know, kung makipag-relate sila sa brothers, yun, kailangan nakikita nila sila as their father or their elder brother or younger brother. And then, for the sister naman, for the brother naman, ganun din, dapat nakikita nila lahat ng sisters around them as their mother, their elder sister, younger sister, auntie, lola. Ganun lang dapat yung feelings nyo towards opposite sex. So when one meets a person of the opposite sex, one should feel toward that person as one does toward one's father or mother or brothers or sister. There should not be an emotion beyond a brotherly, sisterly love toward the opposite sex. The love of a man and a woman is an extension of children's love and brotherly, sisterly love. Children's love and brotherly, sister love must develop fully before one's marriage. So kapag hindi natin na-develop yon, you know, yung siblings love, it will be very, very difficult for us na magkaroon ng magandang relationship kapag tayo ay nagkaroon na ng sariling partner. Kaya it's very important this time na ma-develop ito sa inyo as brother and sister. So, once na kayo nagkaroon na ng partner, ano ang dapat nyong gawin, no? So, total investment of one spouse is the starting point of true love. So, very important na first, the husband should love and serve his wife, and then a wife should love and serve her husband. Ito yung living for the sake of others. So kapag ito'y nabaligtad, you know, una muna ang sarili, bago yung partner, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. And this is the most important part in our physical body, the sexual organ, because it is the most important of all organs because it is the culminating point of conjugal love. No? Love enables the husband and wife to unite spiritually and physically, and life creates new beings and the next generation, and lineage is to inherit the true love of God. And the sexual organ is the most holy place in all creation. To stain or abuse this organ is the terrible act of destroying God's ideal of creation. Kaya nga, Father said, love is one. There is only one husband and one wife in a love relationship. If you have dated and had illicit love relationships before getting married, you should repent. As long as you continue such behavior, you cannot enter the realm of God's love. Originally, your first experience of love should be with God. So, the conjugal relationship of love is allowed only between a blessed husband and wife. Kung hindi kayo makaka-receive ng blessing from God, from our beloved two parents, you are not allowed to have a relationship, no, as husband and wife. So only God's blessing in marriage gives conjugal love sanction. Kaya very, very important ng blessing. Ito yung significance and value of the blessing. The original purpose of marriage is to inherit God's love, creatorship, and lordship through two parents. Without two parents, there has been no way to inherit everything of two parents. Therefore, we can say there has been no true marriage. So how lucky we are, because we are now living under the direct guidance of our beloved two parents. In our lifetime, naandyan si two parents. How great it is, right? So that's why, you know, habang naandito pa si two parents sa mundo, make it sure that you will receive the blessing directly from them. Aju? So, that's why the blessing ceremony of our movement is not simply a wedding through which a man and a woman come together to form a family. Until now, all weddings were solely for the sake of people getting married. Yun nga, kaya when you will attend the blessing seminar, then ila-lecture sa inyo ni Kuya Randy yung difference ng ordinary marriage and a blessing. No? Ibang-iba talaga ang blessing natin. But our wedding ceremony is significant and necessary to set a condition to indemnify the past and return joy to God. Therefore, we conduct our ceremonies in a sacred and splendid manner. Divine principle clearly explains to us that our wedding ceremony alleviates God's bitter grief that was caused by the fall of Adam and Eve. It goes beyond the standard of husband and wife, which Jesus was unable to attain. So see, mas higher pa tayo ngayon na naka-receive tayo ng blessing in our lifetime than all those saints and sages in the past, even, you know, si Jesus Christ. Kasi although this time na-bless na actually si Jesus, no? Na-bless na siya ng two parents. But He's already in the spirit world. So tayo ngayon, buhay na buhay pa tayo, and then we have this chance to receive the blessing. Thank you, true parents, no? So the perfection of true love, through the marriage of Adam and Eve, is a time when the appearance of God's love will come down to earth, no? Ito yung conjugal love na sinasabi, and the conjugal love is the representation of all kinds of love. So naandyan na yung siblings love, you know, kasi when you have a relationship with your spouse, you know, hindi lang isang way of, you know, relationship dyan. Pwede kayong maging parent and child, and a husband and a wife, and then brother and sister, no? The place in which Adam and Eve are perfected, consummating their first love by marrying under God's blessing, is precisely the place where God meets his substantial bride. This is because God's ideal of absolute love descends vertically and connects with Adam and Eve at a point where they experience the ideal of conjugal love horizontally. The true love of God and the true love of humankind join and are perfected at this same point. No? Same point. Although they come from different directions, one vertical and the other horizontal. We marry in order to resemble God. Thus, husband and wife, united, return to God. Together, they are the reflection of his original image. We need marriage because it is the way to develop true love. This is from the Blessing, Marriage, and Eternal Life book. And then man and woman were born from love. Thus, marriage is the way for each of us to reach perfection. Kaya nga hindi tayo mape-perfect kapag wala tayong partner. In order to become perfect, we each need an object partner. The reason we get married is because each of us is only half of the whole, only half of the world. So a husband should perfect his wife. Simultaneously, he should be perfected by his wife. A wife should perfect her husband. Simultaneously, she should be perfected by her husband. So the marriage of Adam and Eve is a precondition for the perfection of the four great realm of hearts. Therefore, without marriage, perfection of human being is impossible. Kaya nga yung mga nagpunta sa spirit world na single, sila daw yung mga ghost spirits. So that's why, if we cannot fulfill this on earth, receiving the blessing, having a partner, surely, ang marami daw talagang tao dun sa sa hell are those singles. Children are conceived when the conjugal love of Adam and Eve is united with their vertical love with God. So once na mag-unite si Adam and Eve, right? And then, ayun, magkakaroon na sila ng children. So Adam and Eve stand in the position of horizontal parents to their children. And God stand in the position of vertical parent to the children. The children are God's as well as Adam and Eve's children. So dalawang parents natin, no? Yung physical parents natin and our heavenly parents. God's Shimjang and love would have been passed down through this blood lineage. And when God, vertical parent, and Adam and Eve, horizontal parents, are united, then Adam and Eve are called true parents. The ideal of creation is accomplished through the ideal family. So kung wala tayong family, it cannot, accomplish yung purpose ni God sa atin. So the marriage of Adam and Eve and God's ideal of creation are inseparable. So ito yung summary ng ating first topic, ang archangel ay first create ni God para mag-assist sa kanya and to protect and nurture Adam and Eve. And then sa Adam and Eve naman, why they are growing, na-realize nila na kailangan pala nila sa bawat isa. And then they first have to develop their siblings relationship as brother and sister. And yan, even though sila ay different in character, but they are reciprocal harmony. And yung marriage ni Adam and Eve, ayun ang way for them to perfect themselves. And yun nga, ang ideal of creation is inseparable sa ideal family. But then, napakaganda, di ba? Napakaganda ng ideal ni God. But what had happened? Adam and Eve fell, right? The fall was caused by unprincipled love. Eve had a relationship of conjugal love with the archangel. Adam and Eve shared conjugal love while still immature. Sabi nga ni God, don't eat the fruit, for in the day that you will eat of it, you will surely die. So ayun nga, kinain nila ng bata pa sila. Hindi naman sinasabi sa kanila na they will not eat the fruit forever. Only kapag hindi pa sila matured. She had 2 husbands and 2 relationships of conjugal love. So yan ang ginawa ni Eve. Adam and Eve, our first ancestors, go away from God. When they were expelled from Eden, they had not yet had children. Having driven out, God has no basis to follow after them to bless their marriage. So the entire human race has thus descended from our fallen ancestors. So walang excuse, lahat tayo ay galing from fallen ancestors. Humanity has multiplied without any direct relationship whatsoever with the love of God. The fall of Adam and Eve was an immoral sin against the ideal of the true love of God. The fact that Adam and Eve needed to obey the commandment shows that they fell in the stage of immaturity. That is to say, during their growth period. The archangel, symbolized by a serpent, tempted Eve to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of evil, and she fell spiritually. She later tempted Adam, who was also too immature to eat of the fruit, and then they fell physically. So yun yung sinasabi kanina. They fell while they are still immature. So anong consequences ng fall? God, human beings, angels, and all things lost their original position and value because of the fall. The failure of Adam and Eve's marriage destroyed true love, the true family, and God's ideal of creation. No? Nagkaroon ng dalawang fall, physical fall and spiritual fall. How great God's pain must have been when, due to the fall of humankind, our human ancestors destroyed his ideal of true love. People were to have been the sons and daughters of God, yet they do not know God as their original parent. Kaya nga sakit kay God, no? Hindi natin siya ma-recognize as our parent. Kaya nga, even though they are parent, hindi sila maging parents kasi hindi ma-recognize ng kanilang mga anak. Yet even though his sons and daughters serve Satan, God has worked for the providence of salvation. Kaya nga, agad-agad, starting when Adam and Eve fell, nagsimula ang providence of restoration ni God. Adam and Eve became the substantial body of Satan and ended up becoming the original fallen couple, fallen parents, and fallen ancestors. Their union became the root of fallen love, fallen life, and fallen lineage of fallen parents. So, to restore the ideal of God's eternal love is to restore the original standard of the family. So, kaya kailangan maibalik yung original marriage centered on God. Kasi nga nag-marry si Adam and Eve centered on Satan. And that is through the blessing. So even though his sons and daughters serve Satan, God has worked for the providence of salvation because he is an absolute being and the ideal of creation is also absolute. He has carried out the providence of salvation even amid great sadness. No? Sakit-sakit kay God. No? God's providence of salvation is the providence of restoration, which means to recover the lost purpose of creation centered on true love. The providence of salvation is also the providence of recreation. So the fall was committed by three beings, sino yun? Adam, Eve, and the archangel. The archangel seduced Eve, causing the spiritual fall, and later fallen Eve seduced Adam, causing the physical fall. As a result, they turned their backs on God, and the fallen archangel became Satan. Since the providence of salvation is the providence of restoration, the principle of restoration can be carried out only by going in a direction 180 degrees opposite that of the fall. So that's why we are all fallen human beings. Kaya talagang everything na ginagawa natin ngayon ay, going back is really pasalungat talaga tayo. No? Kaya it's really, really very difficult. So if we don't have really clear understanding about this and we cannot really commit ourselves and determine ourselves to go back to God, be recreated, and then this is really impossible for us to become, God's sons and daughters again. Just as God created Adam first at the time of creation, God must prepare a son first who has no relationship to the fall, according to the providence of restoration, which is the providence of recreation. This is the basis for the idea of coming the Messiah. No? Kaya nga ang Messiah, di ba, si Jesus Christ is the second Adam. No? Siya yung naipanganak, only begotten Son of God. No? Pinanganak siya na walang kasalanan because of the purification, because of the history of the providence of restoration, na-purify ang lineage until such time na pwede nang maipanganak yung only begotten Son of God, sinless, sinless child. And even though yung parents ni Jesus, no, di ba, fallen parents yun, baka kayo magtataka, bakit naman ang parents naman ni Jesus ay fallen, bakit siya naging sinless? This is because yun nga, may mga process na ginawa na si God and only God used these people para mag-come out si Jesus. So, true man and woman have true marriage. Ano ba pag sinabi nating true? No? Tunay. No? Hindi false. So, show us the standard of true marriage and stand as two parents and start the tradition of two parents of the blessing. So, yan ang malaking ginawa sa atin ni two parents as true men and true woman. So the blessing ceremony, if the unification church is not simply a wedding, I have already talked to you about this, which a man and a woman come together and form a family. So, kaya nga, tayo, whenever we receive the blessing, we, iniis natin ang pain ng heart ni God. And at the same time, ini-eliminate natin yung satanic lineage and nagiging lineage tayo ni God. No? And that's the way now we're in. God can embrace us and claim us as His sons and daughters. So through marriage became possible after the establishment of the two parents who became one with God and heart. Until today, Satan controlled the sphere of false love. Therefore, marriage became the entrance to hell instead of the entrance to the heavenly kingdom. Meeting two parents is the most important event in our life. Kaya you have to really prepare yourself internally and externally so that, ma-inherit natin talaga, can be worthy to whatever mga conditions, yung mga dapat nating gawin, kailangan gawin natin. So, yung mga marriage outside of blessing. So, they are, cannot be recognized by God. So, it means that is fallen marriage. So, the blessing of marriage would originally have been given at the time of the perfection of one's individuality. So, dyan sana, no? Once na perfect si Adam and Eve, then that's the time na mabibigyan sila ng blessing. But what had happened is human beings fell from the top of the broad stage and have been held under Satan's dominion. So to restore human beings, God works to cut off Satan's influence. Yan, nag-fall dito si Adam and Eve. So kailangang ibalik, no? Babalik tayo. For this, we must have the original sin removed by being born anew through the Messiah, the two parents. So, kailangan bumalik tayo and dapat tayo ay, ma-remove yung original sin through the Messiah, through our two parents. Tayo, fallen people, first need to go through a course to separate Satan. Hindi tayo basta-basta makiklaim ni God as His children kapag hindi natin aalisin sa sarili natin si Satan. I-separate natin ang sarili natin si Satan. We do this in order to restore ourselves in form to the spiritual level which Adam and Eve had reached before the fall, the top of the broad stage. Ito yan. Ito yung course of separating from Satan. Ito po yung mga conditions na ginagawa natin. Kaya nga we were asked, they have this indemnity condition, yung fasting, witnessing, fundraising, prayer conditions, what else? Yung mga service projects natin, serving people, because of the fall, lagi kasi ang nangyari is sarili lang natin yung iniisip natin. So we need to really serve others. Ito ngayon, living for the sake of others. Ito yung sinasabing true love. True love means, you have to think of others first before yourself. So yan yung mga ginagawa natin. The moment na maintindihan natin ito, dapat nag-start na tayong sineseparate natin ang sarili natin kay Satan. On this foundation, we are to receive the Messiah and be reborn, thereby removing our original sin and being fully restored to the original state of human beings before the fall. No? The blessing means the rebirth, not the original marriage. So for us as first generation, ang ating blessing is rebirth. No? Ito, we have to liquidate yung ating original sin. And then ito after nitong ating formula course, we'll receive the blessing, forgiveness of our original sin, and then we will grow together as couple until such time na ma-fulfill natin ito, perfection of love inside the family. Finally, by following the Messiah, we should continue our growth to maturity where we can fulfill the purpose of creation. The most precious thing lost in the Garden of Eden was the lineage. Through the long course of history, the central focus of God and the central concern of his heart was the reestablishment of his lineage and his children. Kaya nga, talagang unti-unti, step by step, God purify niya talaga ang lineage. Without his lineage, God cannot stand as the parent or owner of humanity and all creation. Lineage determines ownership. So through the blessing, we can stand in the position to inherit true love from true parents as their children and establish the relationship of parents and children. True parents can take eternal responsibility for blessed members, taking care of them and instructing them even in the spirit world. So kaya once we receive the blessing, talagang hawak na tayo ni Heavenly Parent. Hawak na tayo ni two parents. No matter what will happen into our blessed life, still Satan cannot completely, invade us, Of course, kailangan dito ng portion of responsibility ng human being. But then, as what promised, God had promised, and two parents had promised, was a blessing ceremony na ipinoproclaim doon, dedication yun. Ibig sabihin doon na talagang two parents will really take responsibility for us as blessed couple, as blessed families. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born anew, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Tearful repentance, witnessing, or a PhD cannot liberate us from original sin. We must change our blood lineage through two parents establishing a new relationship as parent and children. So, ano yung basic principle of change of blood lineage? We must be born anew from sinless parents to become sinless children of God. We call the sinless parents true parents. So the seed of the fallen Adam was sown in the womb of the fallen Eve. Cain was born first and Abel next. The original sin came into the human race. So ayon, because of that fall, talagang na-separate talaga tayo from God. So, in order for us to go back again, unification members tayo yon who are standing in a position of restored ear and good archangel should set up a condition to return to the mother's womb through Abel, starting from Cain's position. So, kailangan lagi nating hahanapin kung sino yung ating Abel. So this is, ito yung process ng blood lineage between man and woman. So ito nga sa fall, the archangel seduced Eve and then Eve seduced Adam. So sa restoration, kailangan mag-stand as true Adam. And sino yung true Adam yan? That is the Messiah or our two parents. And then they will restore Eve as blessed wife, and then Eve restored the archangel as the blessed husband. So ganito yung position natin sa once now we receive the blessing. With the Holy Wine, I am giving out the substance of the Father's heart and blood lineage. Through it, I am giving out the life force and forming a connection of lineage. I give out the Holy Wine in order to cleanse the body's defilement and bring it into God's blood lineage. In this ceremony, you women are in the mother's position spiritually. At this point, you must give birth to Adam again through spiritual love and by centering on God's love. Therefore, what is woman? She is the mother. Looking from the principal viewpoint, the husband has to attend his wife as his mother for 3 years. Without attending her for 3 years as his mother, he cannot properly love her as his wife. So very important, brother, no? Within 3 years, kailangan i-attend nyo ng ayos ang inyong partner, yung wife as your mother. Wow, naghang na naman siya. So in order to be born again, maybe the work of changing the blood lineage is done by the Messiah, but the art of changing yourself is the work of no one other than yourself. Unless this is accomplished, you cannot advance on the road to salvation. It does not happen easily. You must face and overcome life and death situations. So hindi po basta-basta to, talagang total commitment ito. No investment, life and death always. Whoever wants to follow me must give his life and bear the cross. Those who want to live will lose their life, and those who lose their life for my sake will gain their life. No matter how much you give reasons that you are good and that you do many good works, self must be denied. So, ayan po yung inaalis sa atin ng Messiah ni two parents, no? From them, iniisa-isa na ini-infuse niya sa atin itong kanyang, blood, original lineage and original blood lineage, so that ito unti-unting maalis ito sa ating, katawan, physically and spiritually. So in order for humankind to make a total break from the false love, false life, and false lineage that derive from Satan as their false parent, it is necessary that we be grafted onto the true olive tree. That is, all people need to be grafted onto God and two parents in order to recover the true love, true life, and true lineage. This will make it possible for us to build heaven on earth as well as in the spirit world. This is, in fact, is the final purpose of God's providence of salvation, restoration, and recreation. So ganito, no? Blessing through the blessing. Isaiah, the true olive tree, ayan, no? Pinuputol niya and then ilalagay niya isa-isa sa atin, no? Yung kanyang, blood. Thus, the appearance of two parents is an event of the most historic importance. They represent the conclusion and final fruit of human history. So this year we will be having again the blessing, and it was announced already on April 25. So for you, I think kung kayo ay fill up ng application form or apply kayo for the matching blessing, so hindi kayo makakaabot ngayong April, I think. But let us see, baka may next blessing on August or September. So kung ma-match kayo, kung ayusin nyo agad yung application nyo and all the necessary conditions, requirements, so baka makaabot kayo ng August, September, right? But then, anyway, hindi naman kasi ito yung, not necessarily na magmadali kung hindi naman talaga ready and hindi naman prepared, hindi naman na-accomplish pa yung mga important condition internally and externally. So you have to really, starting from now, really prepare yourself. And there's, even though kahit gaano mo kagusto, but still, meron tayong, mga conditions na dapat gagawin. And your leader, very important, kaya nga dito sabi ni Donna, you have to restore yourself starting from Cain's position. So you have to look for your able. Kaya very clear kung sino yung inyong leader, kung sino yung able mo. And then through the recommendation of your able, and then with your fulfilling your part, then you can be recommended to become a matching candidate. And then if you will get matched, and then again go to the process, of knowing each other sa iyong partner, and then magkaroon kayo ng commitment, receive the blessing, and then that's the time that both of you will really come to the blessing, and with both of you committing each other, that through that you will go to the next level of your life, and that is a couple and blessed family, then hanggang sa maging chonbo couple. So ito yung process ng blessing, no? And then after that, start also family life in the future. So first thing is actually Holy Wine ceremony. Actually, before this is yung engagement ceremony. So if you are single, you will, through the proposal of our leader, who is now standing as our parent, representative of our parents, our two parents, and then if you commit each other to receive the blessing, magkakaroon muna kayo ng engagement ceremony, and then after that, ito na. Now, when you attend the blessing, you first will attend the Holy Wine ceremony. This is the internal change of blood lineage, separation from Satan, forgiveness of the original sin, and becoming one with the two parents in spirit and flesh. And then after that is the blessing marriage ceremony. And as blessed couple is publicly recognized as husband and wife in heaven and on earth. So, ayan, mare-recognize na kayo as husband and wife. And then after that, meron kayong indemnitistic ceremony. Each couple indemnifies the fall of Adam and Eve who committed sin with the lower parts of their bodies. So itong ilalim dito sa puwet natin banda, this part, yun ang kailangan ma-indemnify, kailangan ma-hit yan. Kaya andyan talaga yung evil. This is where Satan really kumapit ng todo-todo. And then after that is the holy separation period of 40 days, the period of restoring a vertical relationship with God and two parents in heart, restoring the period of engagement of Adam and Eve before the fall. So yan, 40 days separation period, but of course not only for the first generation na hindi pa naman masyadong, kasi we usually recommend this dun sa mga medyo may edad na as much as possible na they can start a family after 40 days. Pero yeah, kung hindi pa rin naman kompleto sa mga other requirements, talaga napoprolong. And then for those younger ones, really, we still recommend you to have more time to develop more your relationship to your partner, and also at the same time do something, for as a condition for you na kapag nakagawa kayo ng maraming conditions of, public life, and raising up more spiritual children, yung hindi makakakompleto pa talaga ng 3 spiritual children, this is the time for you to really raise up your spiritual children, kasi ito yung pinakang foundation wherein Satan cannot invade your couple or your family once na kompleto kayo dito sa spiritual children. Spiritual children that will really recognize you as really a spiritual parent. And then after that, is 3-day ceremony. Ito ang external change of blood lineage, ceremony of rebirth and which to become the children of God's blood lineage, rebirth ceremony of spirit self and physical self. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much po, Tita Dulce Boyayo, for that amazing and profound lecture about the significance and the value of blessing. Clear po ba yung ano ko po?
Yeah. Naghang ang akin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yun, brothers and sisters, please give a hand for Tita Dulce Boyayo for that lecture. Thank you so much po. Nag-loading yung ano ko pala. So,
Sorry.
some happened to the so clear na ba? Okay. So, nakita. Wait lang. Okay. So, yun yung siya, brothers and sisters, no? So, as what Tita Dulce says about the blessing, all we have to do is just to, before we apply, first we need to be perfected or perfect individual, right? And before we receive the blessing, so all we have to do is just to become open-minded and to really truly understand talaga yung ano natin, yung self natin na para kasi yung blessing kasi is not easy, di ba? As what Tita Dulce said earlier, that the blessing from the here in the church and outside the church, right, is different. So dito mo talaga makikita yung yung value, especially the teaching of our parents. So what is it? So tonight, nawala si Tita Dulce. So yung internet na dito may problem, something wrong talaga. So can I ask from the participants to hear some of their reflection about the blessing, significance and value of blessing? May volunteer, ako na lang mag-volunteer. May volunteer, Kuya, ngayon ko lang siya nakita. Kuya Just Dado, please, welcome. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters. Welcome po. Kuya Just Dado.
Welcome, lecturers and leaders, brothers and sisters. Welcome.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, dear parents and brothers and sisters. Reflection ko lang sa... narinig ba ako dyan?
Yes po.
Okay. Ang reflection ko is napakaganda ng blessing kasi mabigyan ko si God ng kaligayahan. Hindi lang yung aking mga magulang, aking mga brothers and sisters, siyempre pati si God, mabigyan ko sila ng kaligayahan. At of course, yung ating world na magkaroon ng heaven on earth dito sa ating mundo. Yun lang.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Just Dado. So, very, even though very short, but it's really clear that our goal here on earth is to really, receive the blessing. Tama po ba? So, yun po yung ano ni Kuya Justado. So, another one. Don't have that. Okay. One more before we proceed to for our next testimony, life's testimony. Okay. Ate Selvia, meron po ba kayong chosen na magbigay ng reflection from among the participants?
Ay si Ate Cora.
Okay, thank you so much po, Ate. Okay, please welcome Ate Corazon. You're the chosen one. Please, brothers and sisters.
Good evening po.
Good evening.
Okay po, yung reflection ko today yung sa lectures po natin, yung sa significance of blessing. Although, di ba kasi nung nag-join ako ng matching, hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit maraming requirements. And then, sa tagal ko na rin na, sabihin ko 1 year na rin ako nasa movement. Ngayon ko lang naintindihan na hindi pala ganun lang. Ma-match ba sa movement. Although sa labas, mabilis lang. Kasi kahit sino pwedeng maging asawa. Pero dito sa movement, hindi pwede. Kaya, keep on waiting ako if ever na ma-match and then makareceive din ako ng blessing. Yun lang, thank you.
Thank you so much po, Ate Corazon. So, yun, no, as what Ate Corazon says, that from the outside, yun nga, ano siya, parang ang bilis lang sa labas. But here on, here in with the principle, dun mo talaga malalaman if ano yung qualification or ano yung kailangan mong ma-fulfill na responsibility to receive the blessing. Diba? Tama po ba? So, this is the time for us to really, as ano nga sabi ni Tita Dulce, diba? Meron tayong blessing this coming April. So, if we really, if we have the heart to really follow the steps of, especially for our true parents, nga mag-build ng an ideal family. So, ito yung chance nga i-multiply natin, or we could be able to really start to ourselves and then multiply to our parang tayo yung kibali yung parang parang tayo yung mag-stand especially to our family. So mostly here is second gen. So I know your parents is so lucky with you because you're here. So thank you so much, especially this time, diba? So for our 20 days of our DP series, you still have here to really understand, especially the heart and really hindi lang yung parents niyo ang nagkaroon ng happiness, especially to our true parents also, right, brothers and sisters? So thank you so much for this evening. So it's already 8:50. I would like to welcome for our next next topic. Next speaker. So he's our elder brother, blessed of a Japanese sister, right? And yun is the one to give a life testimony from. He's also one of the Universal Principal Training Academy what we call this? Yeah. So yun yung siya, no? Let's help me to welcome our very own elder brother, Kuya Julius Escleto. Let's give a hand, brothers and sisters.
Hello, good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters.
Good evening po.
This evening, I was given a task to give testimony. But before that, I'll give little introduction because I think you know my name, but you don't know my spouse to whom I was blessed or my blessing. So I was blessed in 1992, August 25, 1992, to a Japanese named Tami Kuno. So we are belong to the 30,000 couples. And 1996, we started our family. And now we have 2 kids. So one in college and one in senior high school. Now we are residing in Metro Manila, in particular Pasay City. And I'm the breadwinner of the family. So I have little business for our livelihood. I met the movement that was 1990 when I was in college through Juan Wado. So before that was Juan Wado, but now Tungil Modo. So, but before that, I had an accident. The summer of 1989, I had an accident. I was hit by a passing bus, but miraculously or luckily, I was thrown away. So I was not crushed by the bus, but I suffered severe hip contusion, and I was in crutches for 2 weeks. So my friends, whenever they saw me, they told me, Joe, they called me Jojo, you have given a second life. So that really hit me because it is really my very nature to return favor to someone who helped me in my trying times. So God saved me or gave me another life. So I from that point, I started to search the Bible. So I want to know who is God. I want to follow him. So I started to read the Bible, but I have no clear answer. So I also start to making like quitting my vices. So I have many vices before, smoking, drinking. So because I have friends, influenced by friends who are into that vices. Also, I like music, so mostly in that circle, so there is that kind of vices. So, but I cannot consistently quit because no clear really clear understanding about that. But in December 31 of that year, 1989, I really committed myself, my New Year's resolution to quit smoking, drinking, the Mary Jane, and distance myself with my friends because they're the influence of that vices. And I break through on that. And January of 1990, that I met the movement. From that condition, I met the movement. So I was really fascinated with the Four Position Foundation. I was invited through Wonwado. So there is this God, mind and body, that become this ideal person. So I was amazed with that one. And I said, this is what I'm looking for. I found it. So they have no hard time to follow me up because I'm the one consistently going to the center for lectures, series lectures. And that's that starting point that I changed my life into from opposite direction, from uh, the side of uh, living for the sake of others. So I did, because I understood that we have to make some conditions in receiving the blessing, just like separating ourselves from Satan. So doing like fundraising, witnessing. So I did all that also on my volition to really be able to have that qualification to receive the blessing, because that's my goal. I have also in me this I want to create an ideal family. That's my dream also. So I want to make a good foundation in building that ideal family. So uh, I have weaknesses in doing fundraising, but because I know God through parents and the principal, so I was able to overcome that. And everything also witnessing, so the same thing. So in short, after that preparation, in 1992, I received the blessing. So I was much to a Japanese. But before that, I already preconditioned myself that it is not of what I want. This is very important for your partner. What I want, but what I need. It is because what I need to perfect myself. That's our goal, to reach or realize God's ideal of creation. And individually and in our family, the wife, the wife is also one of the person that can perfect myself, and it's really true. So especially when you start your life, that you can see your different from my blessing also. We have different cultures, so that's one thing also. So we have to adjust. Communication problem also, we have to adjust. And anything, of course, those fallen natures. So we have uh, we have this understanding that we have to serve and love our partner. It is because utmost um, love and sincerity towards our partner is the very foundation or starting point of true love, and that's what we are going to embody, right? So from that understanding, there is already that foundation, to understand and serve my wife. So at first, very hard. So it's like a gap is very wide at first. So, but we have this understanding both on the principle. So it's very important that everyone, before you receive the blessing, you have to understand the principle, not only by theory, but uh, by heart. It is because from that you, when you start your family, that you can really be flexible, because you're deep in your understanding with the divine principle. If theoretical only, then there's really conflict, because you cannot really understand if you encounter such uh, fallen nature or something. So that's why we could understand why we have this kind of course, fundraising, witnessing, conditions. It is because we can deepen our understanding with God and through parents. So from that foundation that we can easily love and really serve our wife. So if both of you have that kind of understanding, then your problem would only revolves correcting yourself. Outside of that, major problems, not so much, because you have already such kind of understanding. And your problem would revolves only on how you could correct those fallen natures, bad habits, like that. So that not so problem. So from this gap, so closer and closer, and that's the good thing, no, in our church, unlike the others. It's because from for the others start with they are very close, but would eventually, okay, having this big gap. But ours, we have this big gap, but going to be closer and closer. So that's what happened to me also. We have this big gap adjustment because we have different cultures. Okay. So, but then because we have this understanding, then we could be able to overcome that. And now we became closer and closer. So we have uh, we have also this hondoke that helps a lot also. Because sometimes if you have this uh, influence with others, but if you have always constantly having this hondoke, then you will always be reminded. So very good thing also that we are consistently aligned with God's standard idea. So now you are also starting this preparation for the blessing. So I think also what I can advise is you also, do the same. Don't avoid responsibilities like fundraising, witnessing, or other things because it is the way for you to develop your or deepen your understanding or connections with God and through parents. And whatever partner you that God will give to you, then you could accept. Because if you don't have that kind of foundation, and more likely you will think of what you want for your partner. So, but if you have that kind of understanding, then you will think it is not of what I want, but what I need to perfect myself. It is because that's our goal. And that has been the goal of humankind from the very beginning, okay, to attain or reach the tree of life, which is perfection. So that would be the very foundation that we should make, deepen our understanding with the divine principle. And by consistently practicing that, then ultimately that we could realize God's ideal of creation. So more importantly also, we know that the fall of Adam and Eve is through sexual sin. So this is really the most serious thing. Because the sexual organ, as we read earlier from Atidolce's lecture, is the most holy place in all of the creation. And staining this or abusing this is the act of destroying God's ideal of creation. So that should be also, we should always think that in ourselves. So we could really hesitate to commit such acts. And that is the only commandment that God gave in Adam and Eve. Okay? Don't eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which means don't commit sexual sin. And that's the first thing. After the marriage also confined between you and your wife, husband and wife, between husband and wife. So fidelity. So before purity before marriage and fidelity after marriage. So we could really, by following that and following our true parents, that could ultimately realize God's ideal of creation. So I think that's all I can share. So I can really see that that we are really fortunate that we have our true parents. It is because not only that you could understand all the questions in your life, no? Just like me also, but also you can have this transformation in everything, from individual to the family, and we can help also in transforming this world to an ideal world. And not only that, this our life here on earth is our preparation for our next life in the kingdom of heaven. So that means we are only living here. So that's also my I always think also that whenever there is temptation, okay, the first thing you should do is don't give and take, because we know that love is stronger. The power of love is stronger than the power of the principle. It is because God created us through love. So the first thing is don't give and take. The second thing is, if ever there is, if you be able to have that give and take, then report. So you can have support and protection. Okay. And also, we should think that our life here on earth is only short compared to the next world. So from that thing also, that you replace your to commit sin, then you replace that you will suffer in the next world for eternity, in committing for here on earth in that short moment. So that's only that also one factor that you could overcome those temptation. But more importantly, if you understood deeply then the ideals of God, then you can control. You can have that control to overcome those temptations. So I think that's all I can share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Julius Espleto, for that profound and really amazing testimony. So, yun brothers and sisters. Clear po ba ako? Ano na ba ang internet? So, this time, all we have to do, if we really understand, especially, and value the significance of the blessing, this is the way for us to really change our Satan blood lineage to God's lineage, di ba? So yun yung siya, brothers and sisters, that so kailan pa yung kailan pa natin kailan natin gawin. So right now we need to really value, especially the teaching and the teaching of the principle. So that's all. Thank you so much po again, Kuya Julius. Then tonight we're gonna do the exam, the final exam. Okay po ba kayo? Lahat? Hello, good evening, brothers and sisters. Are you still there? I think I have an internet problem. Andyan po ba kayo? Hindi ako narinig ka. So, okay, let's start. So, I give you 30 minutes for the final exam. So, let me share my screen. Share it out. Lang po. Wait lang. Something. Okay. So, ito po yun. Nakikita po niyo po ba yung exam? Wala ko narinig. Okay po ba, brothers and sisters?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will give you 30 minutes. So, matapos tayo is 9:41. Okay. So, send nyo lang sa akin sa messenger. PM nyo lang sa akin through messenger. Okay. Okay. 15 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Tapos na ba lahat? Saan naman? Saan yung music mo? Saan yung music mo na to or sa akin? Minutes left. Brothers and sisters. Okay, time is up, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much po, brothers and sisters. So, send nyo lang sa akin through messenger. So, naka-answer ba lahat? So, vera, simple lang kayong exam. So, already 9:42. We have 18 minutes left before we finish our time. So, I will ask some Kuya Julius. Kuya, if meron po ba kayong gusto i-volunteer na to reflection from participants po. Kuya Julius. Ouch. Wala. Okay, ako na lang magana po. So, brothers and sisters, ito na yung last chance nyo magbigay ng reflection, di ba? Kasi 20 days na natin to ngayon. So, mostly ang naiwan sa atin dito mag-reflect is second gen. So, I will start to Ate Heaven. Nakatingin na sa Ate Heaven now. So, please welcome Ate Heaven for the reflection.
Sorry, for the reflection, is it on tonight's lecture or is it for all the past lectures as well? Okay, so for my reflection for tonight, I really enjoyed hearing about the difference between the significance of the blessing, the significance and value of the blessing, and how it differs, I guess, from the normal marriages we have in the secular world, and especially that it's not just its sole purpose isn't to bring together one man and one woman and to have a family, but centering on God, and especially to like as a condition to indemnify all of humanity's past mistakes as well. So that was something I really enjoyed about this lecture. And I think something I really need to hear as well. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you so much at the heaven. So, the heaven. Are you still, applying for matching? O meron na po kayo na?
No, we haven't started the process or applying yet, but definitely something I want to do.
Thank you so much at the heaven. Okay? Thank you so much. Even though it's very short, but it's very, very right. So, again, I will call, sino pa naiwan? Kuya Aki. Kuya Aki, are you still there? Please give a very short reflection for that lecture for this, earlier about the significance and value of the blessing. Please welcome, Kuya Aki.
Okay. Sa reflection ko po, today lang to, di ba? Itong reflection na to. So, my reflection is that hearing about the blessing, about part of the blessing, and uh, it really inspires me na partner, you have your own partner, tapos marriage and stuff. Then, turns out that having receiving a partner can change your whole life, something like that. Something romantic stuff together. So, and then also fulfilling the one of the purpose of God's dream. And actually, ako po is matching. Yeah, I'm doing the matching right now. So, ayun, as for hearing the lecture, it really, I mean, narinig ko na yan actually, mga ilang beses na. So, it is really inspiring to hear all of those stuff na even you will have a partner and you will be together with your partner and you will under something under God's name, of course. So, uh, so, uh, so, ano pa ba? Siguro yun na lang po. Yan.
Yes, thank you so much, Kuya Aki. So, yun pala sige Aki. Anong taon ka na, Kuya Aki?
21 po.
Okay, so that's for the matching. So, thank you so much once again. Sino pa yung hindi nakapag-reflect? Okay. Ate Nibian. Arcel. Okay, let's open to welcome Ate Nibian. Let's give hand, brothers and sisters.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Uh, thank you for my reflection. My sisters already said a lot, but I'd also like to point out what Tito Julia said about starting off with a big gap during the matching and then becoming closer compared to in the secular world where we all start close and then having a big gap. I found that I've heard about it before, but I would just like to emphasize that because that's one of the big differences between the matching blessing compared to dating and marriage in the secular world, because we'd only start to get close to our future spouse after the blessing. So, thank you for.
Yes, thank you so much, Nibian. So, yun siya na. Si Nibian. Sino pang panganay? Navy or Heaven? Ito ko sa inyo. Okay. So, yun siya, no? So, what's the difference talaga if you receive the blessing, especially, di ba? So, as what, Kuya Julie says earlier, that before he received the blessing, di ba, a lot of changes, di ba? So, this is the way for us, especially, sino yung mga first in death dito, nga mag-receive ng blessing. So, all we need to do is to really understand especially the value, and malaking tulong din yung doing fundraising and advertising also, kasi dito mo talaga mawiwil din yung heart, especially sabi nga nila, di ba, sometimes dito mo malalaman kung ano yung mga attitude, especially yung ma-receive mong in the future nga mga partner. So yun yung siya yung may share ko. So lastly, meron pa tayo isang sister dito na hindi pa lang nakapag-share. Ate Feli, are you still there? Please help me to welcome Ate Feli.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Maririnig ba ako?
Yes po, ate.
Hindi ko lang open yung camera ko ha, kasi mukhang pagpapasok pa ako sa loob ng house namin, mahirap talagang signal doon. So dito ako sa labas ngayon. Nasa kadiliman ako sa gitna ng kalsada.
Thank you, ate. Okay, ate.
Share ko lang, reflect sa significance, the value of blessings. It's not easy, right? Hindi talaga madali na to receive the blessing, because you need to be perfect yourself. Kailangan practice mo yung sarili mo na maging na magawa mo lahat yung yung kumbaga na maging perfecto ka, na sundin lahat ng tradition, na magiging open-minded ka para kumbaga maging perfection para sa sarili mo, na para ma-achieve mo yung blessing na yun. Hindi napakahirap talaga, kumbaga hindi madali ang na ma-receive mo yung blessing, kasi akala ko kasi noon easy lang pala pag sinasabing ganito, oy na ka na ganun, easy lang para sa akin, ang isip ko talaga noon is easy lang, pero mahirap din pala talaga. So yung naman, yung ma-match ka, kailangan mo talaga ma-change yung differences yung para sa sarili mo sa'yo. So, yun talaga, yun na doon. So, yun lang. You need to practice yourself to be perfect. Apply mo sa sarili mo na maging maging open mind. So yun lang ang ma-share ko.
Yes, thank you so much po, Ate Feli. So despite of the difficulties, especially in the internet, so Ate Feli wants to really share his heart that we need to really open-minded and to really perfect, especially yun nga, fulfilling your responsibility and doing the, di ba, doing especially our doing and practicing, especially the teaching of our parents to become a perfect individual is not easy, right? Yun nga, if parang hanggang sa salita lang, di ba, without actually, they seem like it's nothing lang, parang ganun siya. So yun, thank you so much po, brothers and sisters, for your reflections. So this time, so I would I would like to welcome some additional. Lubos-lubosin natin to kasi this is our last day, 28th day. So I would like to welcome Sir Randy for some additional points po from tonight topic. Please help me to welcome brothers and sisters. Kaya Randy, please give a hand. Wala si Kay Randy, andun po ba kayo? Okay. Wala. Okay, Kuya Herwin, do you have some additional points?
Wala na. But just announcement.
Okay.
Before we gonna end tonight's session. So next meeting is the graduation, February 2. Okay. And before that, we have this written reflection for the whole 21 days. So yeah, Ate Munina will send the link. Aside from your reflection of tonight's lecture. So there is a like overall reflection, written reflection for the whole 21 days. And also we will choose next meet during the graduation. Some of you will going to give reflection orally. Our national leader might be there, will not promise because he is really busy because we're preparing right now for early hope, right? I hope so. You can be able to hear a message from our national leader. And what else? So yeah, some of you are going to give reflection, oral reflection. So just prepare, okay? Prepare your heart and mind. And what else? And also your obligation payment, registration payment. So don't forget, it's part of your condition attending these 21 days in preparation for watching. Yes. That's it. That's all. Yep. See you on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you so much, Kuya Herwin. Actually, Kuya Herwin is sick right now, but thank you so much for your hard work. So, yun siya, no? So, yun yung brothers and sisters. So, reminders again. Yun nga, yung reflections. Thank you so much also for our lecturers for their hard works and dedication. At the same time, yung to our participants who survive. So, nakasurvive. So, ilan tayo sa, actually, ang dami natin, pero ngayon nakasurvive. So, yan. Thank you so much po. Hoping that you learned a lot from our lectures at the same time. So, continuous doing and reading the divine principles. So, yan lang po. So, this evening, let's conclude now. So, I would like to ask for the closing prayer. Kuya Julius, are you still there?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Please join me in prayer. Our loving Heavenly Parent and our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, good evening. We are so grateful for this evening as we have this lecture with our elder sister, Ate Dulce, with regards to the value and significance of the blessing, on which we are fortunate that everyone now could receive blessing from our true parents, on which we could have this rebirth, the removal of our sin that could um, change us, transform us from this fallen state into an original unfallen state. And we have to always value this, and we have to align to this standard that we could keep that value in our family, and the individual also could make some preparation that also they could uh, somehow have this qualification to receive the blessing. And it is the hope of everyone really to receive uh, this blessing to remove our original sin. And we have this responsibility that everyone could really be enlightened with the coming of our true parents now in this era, that everyone, we are fortunate in this era that everyone could, if they really have this open mind, open heart, not not to close with this new enlightenment, and be able to embrace this newfound uh, enlightenment, that everyone could uh, really be able to receive this blessing. And we have to fulfill our part, that we could witness, we could be able to bring people to the blessing. And that has been our goal as messiahs to our tribes. And we have to equip ourselves, and we are so grateful for always the opportunity, having this opportunity, that we could study your words, study everything, and that could be able for us to share everything, all these enlightenment and blessings, and that we could ultimately realize your ideals, the substantial kingdom of heaven here on earth. And it is really, really great blessings for all of humankind. And we have to really do more our best and align with the vision of our true mother in this second stage of bringing about that substantial foundation to realize Junilguk. And we have to unite with our true mother in realizing that by fulfilling our responsibilities. And in ourselves, we have to deepen more, especially our understanding with your ideals, and especially your longings on how to liberate everyone, how to bring everyone back to your bosom. And we are so grateful for always guiding us, giving us chances and opportunities. And we have to develop more, that we could really be able to bring about victory in fulfilling our responsibilities. Again, we thank you for today, as we have this last day for this session, for this group batch. Uh, and we have to um, learn from each other. We have to help one another, that we could, uh, all of us would be able to realize or fulfill our uh, purpose in life, that we could align consistently with your ideals, and ultimately that we could realize the purpose of creation in us. Thank you once again for everything, especially for this opportunity and for this moment as we gather together and as we close this session with this prayer. In my name and my wife's name, Julius Santanes, Clito Central Person Family, pray all these things. Aju.
Adieu. Yes, thank you so much po everyone. And good night
Thank
po.
you, brothers and sisters.
Salamat po.
Good night.
See you on
Okay,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, last day. Alright. Thank you so much po. Bye, everyone.